Hello everyone, my name is Amandeep Singh Oberoi and today I have a really special content for you all. Today I'm gonna show you all how to write a professional exam paper. So I'm gonna first share with you all something. As you all can see these to any normal person would look very duplicate, and on my result day even I was confused, but my mom pointed out that this is professional. And earlier I had got a similar rank in executive, so which was a confusion was normal. But here I realized during executive when I scored rank 2 that I have done something right, but professional was ahead and I wanted to get good results in that as well. So I got the papers of my executive program and I analyzed them. And after my analysis, I've used those similar inputs in my professional program as well, and they have worked. So now I have something very important to share with you all, and I believe that each and every person who is watching this video of any professional institute, whether CES, CS, CWA, can use these insights to get the best marks. So let's begin. As you all can see that this is my company law paper of CS Executive. Here, company law is a subject which is practically common in all examination, whether it's CA, CS, CWA, and this particular paper, if you manage it well, it will be a bang on for you. And in my CS professional exams, I had a subject named corporate funding, which is basically securities law, SEBI. All the techniques which are used here, I had applied there and I managed to secure a 75 in it. But here also you can see that that my exam was on 2nd January 2020. So you all know how interesting my 31st night was. So let's begin with the real content, which is going to be very useful for you all. So hello everyone, my name is Amandeep Singh Oberoi and today I have a really special content for you all. Today I'm gonna show you all how to write a professional exam paper. So I'm gonna first share with you all something. As you all can see these to any normal person would look very duplicate, and on my result day even I was confused, but my mom pointed out that this is professional. And earlier I had got a similar rank in executive, so which was a confusion was normal. But here I realized during executive when I scored rank 2 that I have done something right, but professional was ahead and I wanted to get good results in that as well. So I got the papers of my executive program and I analyzed them. And after my analysis, I've used those similar inputs in my professional program as well, and they have worked. So now I have something very important to share with you all, and I believe that each and every person who is watching this video of any professional institute, whether CES, CS, CWA, can use these insights to get the best marks. So let's begin. As you all can see that this is my company law paper of CS Executive. Here, company law is a subject which is practically common in all examination, whether it's CA, CS, CWA, and this particular paper, if you manage it well, it will be a bang on for you. And in my CS professional exams, I had a subject named corporate funding, which is basically securities law, SEBI. All the techniques which are used here, I had applied there and I managed to secure a 75 in it. But here also you can see that that my exam was on 2nd January 2020. So you all know how interesting my 31st night was. So let's begin with the real content, which is going to be very useful for you all. So let's begin with the analysis of my company law paper of December 2019 CS Executive Program, where I managed to score an exemption. So firstly, I would like to point you all that whenever you begin any answer, make sure you're giving a good heading to it. And why is it important? Because me, when I'm seeing my paper even after 2 years, it's very reader friendly. So that is what is important for the examiner to check it, because when the examiner is going through numerous papers, yours should be very easy to correct. That's the first thing. And secondly, when you're writing your paper, make sure you're dividing your paper into various subpoints, because that will make the paper much easier for the examiner to correct. And secondly, I'm going to point you all a very important aspect of law papers and for any other professional exam when you're writing theory papers: language. Language is the key. For example, let's take this sentence: the doctrine is well enunciated in the words of LCM Grover. Over here, I could have written something like the doctrine is well explained. When I'm speaking, I might be using the word explained, but when I'm writing an answer, my vocab changes. And vocab is something which can be easily developed by any person. Okay, even I right now make a lot of mistakes when I'm speaking in English, but that does not show in my paper. So reading the module continuously will help you develop an amazing language which will show in your paper. And thirdly, in this particular question, you will realize that this deals with lifting of corporate will. Lifting of corporate will is a question which can be written by anyone, but the right content matters. So what's the right content? Case laws. Over here, I managed to incorporate 1, 2 and 3 case laws which managed to create a good impression in the start, and first impression is the key. And during your law papers, it's quite difficult in a 5-mark question to get marks, but I did manage to get a 3, which I think is possible with good case laws and good content. And also, when talking about presentation, conclusion should always be there, because it gives a summary of your opinion to the examiner. Moving forward, this is quite interesting, okay, which is very useful for everyone right now: compromise and arrangement. So actually, this is one topic which we do not study at the starting levels of our professional exams, but a question was asked out of the box by the institute, and to be honest, I did not know the right answer to it. So what I did was I never left the question. What I did, whatever I knew about compromise and arrangement, like if you see, I've written such basic things like it deals with merger amalgamation, approval of tribunal is required, so this shows to the examiner that I'm well updated with the basic knowledge, and it managed to get me a 2 wherein I was thinking to actually leave the question. So this is a very important tip: never leave any question, because you never know. Whatever basic knowledge you have of a topic, just write it down, you will get good marks. So moving forward to the next question, here I would like to highlight the most important aspect of law subjects is definition clause. So whenever you study any subject, make sure that the section 2, which is the interpretation clause, is done well by you, because in any question you all can start with it, and it shows the examiner that you are well read with the section and also the subsection. So this is a primary thing which can be done in every question. Moving forward, I would also like to point you all that section 77(3) of the Companies Act, which if you read whatever I have written, is actually very much matching with what's given in the BEAR Act, but my language is very much different, which was in the end difficult for the examiner to interpret. So another suggestion here is that stick to the module BEAR Act language as much as possible, because if you see practically what I've written is right, if you check the section right now as well, but make sure that you're sticking to the module. Moving forward, here I would like to show you all again that the definition clause play a good role, and highlighting with an introduction is crucial. Further, I would also like to show that if you know the sections, relevant sections and subsections of any answer, please do quote it. But also make sure that when you're quoting a section, you're absolutely sure about it. Do not take a risk, because instead of 28, if I would have written 29, perhaps my marks would have gone brutally, and also it creates a bad impression at the start. So be careful with that. And also here, I would like to show the SEBI LODR, the SEBI regulations, which can be incorporated in a law paper. Okay, because SEBI ICDR regulations and LODR regulations work well with company law. So make sure whenever a relevant thing comes up, you are quoting it also, because it shows the examiner that you are, you have a very holistic approach, you know all the regulatory framework, so you are a person who is practically possible to work in the field as well. So that is something which you can work on. And again, also please make sure that you're giving a conclusion. Further, yes, I've also written the definition clauses everywhere because it's an easy technique to create good content for your paper, and it won't take a lot of much time to even revise it. Further, yes, so this actually dealt with related party transactions, and as you all know that 188 of the Companies Act deals with this RTP transactions, but I'm gonna tell you all that the question of the institute was precisely with LODR. So LODR and ICDR have to be done because they go literally hand in hand. Moving forward, I would like to show you all a very interesting question. Over here, the question dealt practically with sweat equity shares, and a question was framed in this manner, wherein you write the answer of point 1, you get 1 mark, for point 2 you get another mark, and in this way you have to present your answer, your conclusion primarily in this format, writing like a lawyer. If the answer you want to give relates to point 1, just write it down clearly that a company is allowed to allow such shares. What was the question? Whether the company is allowed to allow such shares. Be direct to the examiner. It will definitely fetch you good marks. For me, it was 4 out of 5. And here I've strictly given the clear-cut answer by mentioning in the conclusion all the relevant points compared to the question paper. But however, you need to make sure that all the provisions are mentioned. For example, the definition clause I've said, section 2, subsection 88, section 54, and then go to the conclusion and conclude in the way the question is framed. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, the similar should be here. Moving forward, I'm going to point you out on another important technique. It happens that sections are sometimes very difficult to memorize. So what I used to do is that I used to take bunch of sections. For example, section 153 to 158 deals with DIN, the director identification number. So instead of memorizing 154, 155, I've taken a bunch and I've quoted it. Similarly, you can do for charges, section 77 to section 87, if you're not able to memorize all the sections. So this works really well and will show the examiner that yes, you know your concepts well. Because what's important in a law paper is that you're writing the relevant content. Even if you do not know a section, for example, just simply write as per the provisions of Companies Act, as per the provisions of LODR, whatever it may be. Content is important. Moving forward, here I would like to show that yes, question number 3C, which is also another interesting question, which practically dealt with expulsion of a member. Over here, I would like to show the ICSI guideline answer. So over here you would realize that ICSI, actually any other institute, provides the model answers. And if you compare the model answer with what I have written, is that expulsion of a member, primarily we need to quote section 6, which shows that even though whatever is given in the AOA MOA, the Companies Act will override it. And then I've quoted a very popular case law, NK Firodi and Bajaj Auto, which is given in each and every module. Okay, and then I've also given a MCA clarification. So it's not that I'm quoting just the provisions, but also the MCA clarification and NK Foradia case, which is actually repeated here. Department of Company Affairs, they have guideline answers provide again the similar clarification which I quote in my paper, and also the Bajaj Auto case of NK Foradia. So here what I'm gonna focus on is that module is something, if you read well all the case laws, all the departmental clarification, MCA notification quoted in the paper, you're good to go. Further, I'm gonna show a big mistake, not a big but a very human mistake which I committed, and here is something which this mistake can be rectified by y'all by seeing what I did wrong. So firstly, I'm gonna show you what's the question exactly. So this was a question which dealt with loan to directors. Okay, over here if you see, that I've written everything properly. I've given the heading loan to directors, I've quoted the section 185, I've given the right provisions, and even after that, I was able to secure what? Just a one marker. The question here arises is that even after writing everything, all the provisions well, facts of the case presentation, where did I go wrong? So I'm going to show you all the ICSI guideline answers. Here you will realize that I missed something. I missed an important aspect that section 185 does not apply to certain specified private companies. That there was an exemption notification. However, I attempted the question and I managed to get 1 mark. But my biggest mistake was not having the adequate knowledge. So make sure when you're reading it, the module, when you're studying, you have all the relevant contents, exemption notification, the case laws, and as well along with it the relevant sections and rules, because your knowledge is going to get you marks. Presentation comes second. Moving forward, annual general meeting of top 100 listed companies. So directly the institutes of all the professional bodies are asking you the provisions applicable to listed companies. So the primary thought which comes is that Companies Act to applicable hai, but SEBI will also come in the picture. So as I suggested earlier, LODR has to be done very well with Companies Act, because there are times when the institute will directly ask you questions of listed companies. Further, I'm going to point you all at another important way of scoring good marks that can be done easily by way of quoting the secretarial standards or the accounting standards. For example, if we see this particular question which deals with proxy, I've given the relevant sections which are applicable. I've also quoted the relevant provisions. But what I've done extra is that I've also quoted secretarial standards. And you can also incorporate all such things easily by just having a look at it. And it's very easily done by referring your modules and other study material provided by your institute. Further, we're gonna summarize primarily on all the important points which we have gone through right now. So now I'm gonna provide you all with a proper good summary of whatever we discussed right now. Firstly, when you're writing a paper, ensure that the presentation is perfect. Have the introduction, have the main body, have the conclusion, and also facts of case should be mentioned, provisions as well. Legal language. Reading and reading will improve it. Make sure you incorporate it in your paper. Case law section, subsection, rules and notification. So these are the things which can be developed by revision and revision. So make sure you're thorough with your study material and revising again and again. Another aspect is definitions. Okay, definitions can easily be done, by taking the section 2 of any act and you incorporate on the start of every question. Further, there is regulatory framework. As I said, when you're writing any paper, make sure that it does not concern only with that particular, cliche topic which everyone is going to write. Add a few extra things, add the other regulatory bodies, add the views of other institutes, add whatever, accounting standards are saying, secretarial standards are saying, add them. And yes, refer study material of institute, module, guideline answers, RTP. Okay, so this is practically very important because many students I've seen is that they're not aware that there's so much content given by the institutes. So if you follow all these techniques, and also if you see my paper is actually something which can be easily done by any person who is watching this. There's no rocket science in it. It's very easy. You just have to be aware of the right tricks and strategies. So I think this is it, and thank you very much for watching this video. And if you would like me to clarify on some other subject, or you would want some clarification on any other topic, please do let me know in the comment section. I think I will be useful for the student fraternity. Thank you very much.